Have you ever heard of a king who married 6 times, executed his own wives, and changed the religion of an entire nation just to get what he wanted? What kind of ruler would risk everything, his friends, his faith, even his soul, to secure his legacy? This is the story of Henry VIII, the most infamous king in English history. Henry Tudor was born on 28 June 1491 at Greenwich Palace. He was the second son of King Henry VII and Elizabeth of York. As a child, Henry was not expected to become king. His elder brother Arthur was the heir apparent and was groomed for kingship from a young age. Henry, on the other hand, was prepared for a life in the church. He received an excellent education, studying theology, languages, music, and the arts. He was a handsome and athletic young man, excelling in sports such as jousting, hunting, and tennis. He also enjoyed music and dancing, often performing for the court. However, fate had other plans for Henry. In 1502, Arthur died unexpectedly, leaving Henry as the new heir to the throne. This sudden change in his destiny thrust Henry into the spotlight and altered the course of his life forever. Henry was crowned king on 22 April 1509, at the age of 17. He was tall, strong, and had a powerful presence. He was also intelligent and well-educated, determined to be a great king. He wanted to rule with fairness and justice and to bring glory to England. The young king inherited a stable and prosperous kingdom. His father had left the royal treasury full, and England was at peace with its neighbors. There was a sense of optimism in the air, and people hoped that Henry's reign would be a golden age for England. However, Henry's reign would prove to be anything but peaceful. He would lead England through a period of immense upheaval and change. He would break from the Catholic Church, marry 6 times, and execute some of his closest advisors. He would transform England into a Protestant nation. Henry VIII's reign remains one of the most fascinating and controversial in English history. The early years of Henry VIII's reign were marked by his popularity and charisma. He was a strikingly handsome young man. He had a powerful physique and a commanding presence. He was also athletic and enjoyed hunting, jousting, and dancing. These qualities made him a popular figure with the people. Henry was also a devout Catholic. He attended Mass daily. He was a generous patron of the Church. He even wrote a treatise defending the Catholic faith against the Protestant Reformation. This earned him the title, Defender of the Faith, from the Pope. This title is still held by British monarchs today. Henry's court was a center of learning and culture. He was a patron of artists, writers, and musicians. He invited some of the finest minds in Europe to his court. He was eager to showcase the brilliance of English talent. In these early years, Henry appeared to be a just and merciful ruler. He was known to listen to the grievances of his subjects. He was determined to rule fairly. He seemed to embody the ideal of a Renaissance prince. He was both a man of action and a patron of the arts. However, this image of a benevolent and pious king would not last. The pressures of securing the Tudor dynasty and his own personal desires would lead Henry down a darker path. A path that would see him challenge the authority of the Church. It would also lead him to betray his closest friends and advisors. Henry VIII's policies also played a significant role in his popularity. He strengthened the English navy, making it one of the most formidable in Europe. He promoted trade and commerce, boosting the economy. His agricultural reforms improved food production and distribution. He established educational institutions, fostering learning and innovation. His patronage of architecture led to the construction of magnificent buildings. He supported the arts, leading to a flourishing of English culture. His interest in science and technology spurred advancements in various fields. Henry also reformed the legal system, ensuring justice and fairness. His diplomatic efforts strengthened England's position in Europe. These achievements and policies endeared him to the people, solidifying his reputation as a capable and visionary ruler. However, this image of a benevolent and pious king would not last. The pressures of securing the Tudor dynasty and his own personal desires would lead Henry down a darker path. A path that would see him challenge the authority of the Church. It would also lead him to betray his closest friends and advisors. No matter how popular Henry was, one issue loomed large: the need for a male heir. The Wars of the Roses, a brutal civil war, were still fresh in everyone's memory. The Tudor dynasty, though in power, was not yet secure. A son would secure the succession and prevent another devastating war for the throne. Henry's wife, Catherine of Aragon, had given birth to several children. However, only one survived infancy, a daughter Mary. The pressure mounted with each passing year. Henry's desperation for a male heir grew. He began to question the legitimacy of his marriage to Catherine. She had been married to his elder brother Arthur before his untimely death. Henry began to believe that their marriage was cursed by God. He became convinced that he had committed a sin. He believed this sin prevented him from having a son with Catherine. He sought an annulment from the Pope. Henry argued that his marriage to Catherine was against God's law. He wanted to marry again and father a legitimate male heir. The Pope, however, refused Henry's request. This refusal was due to political pressure from Catherine's nephew, the Holy Roman Emperor. This refusal plunged England into a crisis. It would have profound consequences for the future of the nation. Henry VIII's desire for an annulment from Catherine of Aragon, what he called his great matter, became a national obsession. The king, used to getting his own way, found himself increasingly frustrated by the Pope's refusal. He began to question the authority of the Catholic Church. He began to listen to advisors who suggested a radical solution, breaking away from Rome. One of these advisors was Thomas Cromwell, a shrewd and ambitious lawyer. Cromwell saw an opportunity to advance the king's cause while also increasing his own power. He encouraged Henry to declare himself supreme head of the Church in England. This bold move would effectively sever ties with Rome. In 1533, Henry secretly married Anne Boleyn. Anne was a lady-in-waiting to Queen Catherine. He had become smitten with her and believed she could give him the son he desperately craved. He then appointed a new Archbishop of Canterbury. This archbishop annulled Henry's marriage to Catherine. The break with Rome was complete. England was in shock. A king who had once been a staunch defender of the Catholic faith had now declared himself its enemy. This decision would have far-reaching consequences, leading to religious persecution, the seizure of church property, and the establishment of the Church of England. In his later years, Henry VIII's health began to decline rapidly. He suffered from a series of ailments, including painful leg ulcers and obesity. These health issues left him in constant pain and affected his mood and decision-making. Despite his declining health, he continued to rule with an iron fist, signing numerous death warrants and making crucial decisions. Henry VIII's final days were marked by a sense of isolation and regret. He died on January 28, 1547, and was buried in St. George's Chapel at Windsor Castle. His death left a divided England grappling with the religious and political upheaval he had set in motion. Henry VIII's reign was one of the most transformative periods in English history. His decisions, particularly the break with Rome, altered the religious landscape of the country forever. The establishment of the Church of England marked the beginning of a series of religious reforms and conflicts that would shape the nation's future. Henry's dissolution of the monasteries, where he seized church lands and wealth, had a profound economic impact. It redistributed power and wealth, leading to the rise of a new class of wealthy landowners and fundamentally changing the social structure of England. Despite his brutal and often tyrannical rule, Henry VIII is also remembered for his contributions to culture and education. He was a patron of the arts, and his court was a center of Renaissance culture. The King's College Chapel in Cambridge, completed during his reign, stands as a testament to his influence on architecture. Henry's quest for a male heir ultimately led to his 6 marriages, but it was his daughter, Elizabeth I, who would go on to become one of England's greatest monarchs. Elizabeth's reign, known as the Elizabethan era, saw the flourishing of English drama, led by playwrights such as William Shakespeare, and the expansion of English influence overseas. Today, Henry VIII remains a complex and controversial figure. He is often remembered for his larger-than-life persona and his tumultuous personal life. His bold actions and decisions continue to be subjects of debate among historians. Some view him as a tyrant who caused unnecessary suffering, while others see him as a visionary who laid the groundwork for modern England. His legacy is visible in the institutions he founded, the cultural shifts he initiated, and the historical narratives that continue to be told. Whether admired or reviled, Henry VIII's impact on England's history is undeniable, and his story remains a compelling chapter in the annals of history. Thanks everyone for watching my video. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more amazing historical tales. See you next time.